So, you know, having the kids I had really changed the focus of my life in lots of ways. My legal practice, I had to suspend for a while. I went back to work. When I went back to work, I went to the Pacer Center. And then I finally realized I could be an attorney and focus on helping families that had kids with autism and other disabilities, and started to build that practice. And then, because I believe that personal experience is the best way to learn a new area of law, I got divorced. And it was very informative. And one of the things I learned is that most family law attorneys, are really kind of all of them, as far as I can tell, don't understand the issues that a family that has a kid with a disability need them to understand. So even some of the stuff that we've talked about, it gets so much more complicated when parents are fighting about the right thing to do, about who's right about what should be happening for the kid. Things like child support, special needs trust, it all gets much more complicated. Parental fees, oh my gosh, how many parents are upset because they're divorced and one parent is paying a high parental fee and the other parent is getting paid to stay home and take care of our kid. They get so mad, they don't understand it. And they didn't understand it, and their attorneys didn't help them to understand it when they were getting married. So all I'm really going to say is that I want you to know, because you may, hopefully not because you're going to get divorced, but you may have friends who need someone who's got some experience in these areas. And again, we sometimes mix all of this knowledge together. So we've got parents who are maybe not married, but their kid is having trouble at school, and one parent won't agree to an evaluation and the other one will. We recently had clients where our client wanted to take her kid to get evaluated. He's a very young child, suicidal ideation, homicidal ideation, expressing this ideation at school, engaging in disruptive behaviors and very challenging negative behaviors. And one of the parents is saying, you can't take him to the doctor. And she called on a day that she tells me the school called and said the kid was expressing suicidal and homicidal ideation. So I said, take him to the emergency room. And she did. And I said, and call the other parent, the dad, and tell him you're doing this. And he called the emergency room. And he said, I'm telling you, I will not allow you to evaluate my child. But they did anyways because it's an emergency situation. And then we went to court, and we got Dad on board eventually. Well, the court did, because the court was like, you're going to do this. But we got an order, and that worked for a while, and then we got some evaluations, and I think that helped the dad to see that this is what the kid needed. So sometimes it's a role of being a litigator. Sometimes I act as something called a parenting consultant. When parents get divorced or they have a custody agreement over their kid, they can have a dispute resolution provision that says somebody's going to help them mediate that dispute. That can be a parenting consultant. And then sometimes I mediate those disputes. And then this last slide just has some helpful resources. And I just want to conclude by saying, for me, and I think many parents share this, what I have gained from having the children I've had and the experiences I've had have, I think, made me a better person. I think it's added a rewarding aspect to my career that I didn't have when I was arguing about delaminating windows and what kind of dirt was delivered to a construction project in my younger days as an attorney. And over the years, the experiences we've had helping families, I mean, sometimes it can be so heartbreaking. We might be helping a family of a 7-year-old get an out-of-home placement because that's all that's the best that can happen right now. Or we might be helping a kid get tuition paid for by the school district who then goes on to college and graduates and is looking at being really independent. It's been and continues to be so incredibly rewarding that I always want to thank my clients and the audiences we talk to because you know, I think we're pretty lucky in what we get to do and how we get to help families. Thank you so much for your time and attention tonight.